show for you tonight, so let's get right into it with a look back at the news of the week. The Pelicans won the NBA draft lottery on Tuesday, giving them the chance to take Zion Williamson with the first overall pick. It was such a big win for New Orleans that the NFL instinctively tried to take it away from them. The Jets on Wednesday fired GM Mike McCagnon and named Adam Gase interim GM. Apparently, the Jets voted on who should get the job. There were a few nays, but the ayes had it. The star of Simon Says, Dennis Rodman, has been accused by a yoga studio of stealing a 400-pound crystal. If you're wondering what a 400-pound crystal is doing at a yoga studio, she's trying to better herself. Mind your business. When asked about John Daly using a golf cart for this week's PGA Championship, Tiger Woods said, quote, "I walked with a broken leg." Fair, but that was from the fire hydrant back to the driveway. U.S. soccer star Megan Rapinoe said in an interview Monday that she will probably never sing the national anthem again. Now, how can we get Fergie to say the same thing? A basketball game in the Philippines was interrupted by a man dressed as Spider-Man who rushed the court and crashed into players. So I guess Gronk's retirement party is still going. The Lakers hired Frank Vogel as the head coach along with Jason Kidd as an assistant coach. Said Vogel, "It will be an honor to stop losing to LeBron and start losing with LeBron." Hurricanes captain Justin Williams said about his team being down 2-0 in the conference finals to the Bruins, quote, "Sometimes you gotta eat a poop sandwich." You can't just steal Subway's slogan, Justin. And lastly, Liverpool fell 1 point short of winning the Premier League on Sunday, which some of us are still coping with. But in hindsight, it's probably because they did not have their best player in the lineup for most of the season. So cute. She was obviously offside, but so cute. All right, moving on to our main story tonight, losing. It sucks, man. 1 minute you feel like you're on the cusp of sweet victory, and the next you're hugging your brother/bang buddy getting crushed to death in the gravel pit. We've all been there. We've all been there, right? It's that time of year where hearts are broken and seasons are ended, and this past weekend was no exception. We had 2 Game 7s in the NBA. One saw Portland beat Denver to head to their first Western Conference final in 19 years, and in the other, the Raptors handed the 76ers a dramatic and devastating L. Meanwhile, across the pond, like I just said, in the Premier League, Liverpool closed out their season with 97 points, the 3rd highest point total for any team in league history. It still wasn't enough to beat Manchester City's 98 points. And that sucks! Losing is a huge bummer. And part of the reason for that might be that we've branded it unacceptable, right? Winning is the only option. How many times have we heard that from coaches, fans, and most notably, our favorite athletes?
No. Accept losses? No.
This is not the team we're going to see.
Yeah, but I'll never accept a loss. It's not in my DNA.
Yeah, it sounds like tough talk, but he actually found that out through 23andMe. They came back and it was like, you are 0% loser and surprisingly 8% Dutch. But look, I understand that mentality. No sports fan wants to root for a team who's like, so we lost, who cares? But at the same time, losing is the most common thing in sports. In the NBA, for example, every year 30 teams are in it to win it, and 1 does. 29 other teams, losers, as are 30 NHL teams, 29 baseball teams, and 31 NFL teams. Big, fat losers. So refusing to accept loss before the game is over, totally fine. But once you've lost, you gotta accept it. That's a huge part of becoming a winner. You know, you think about it, you could argue that if you don't lose, it's harder to get better, which I guess would mean that losing is good, actually. I know that's weird, but I think it's right. Let's talk through it. Okay, so for Liverpool, losing was bad, but it also could give them the motivation that they need to show up for the Champions League final in a few weeks. And, you know, everyone getting eliminated from the playoffs technically gets more time off than the people that are still playing. I love vacation. But, I mean, honestly, I think losing is good, actually, because it helps you figure out what your weaknesses are so that you can fix them and then come back better next time. That's literally the job of the team. You have to let them do that. The thing is, we usually don't. After a big loss, we tend to react in one very specific way, and that way is to yell, "Fire them!" I don't know who, it doesn't matter who, them, fire them. Just take the team apart and sell it. Exhibit A, the Washington Capitals in 2017 after they were knocked out of the playoffs in the second round for the third year in a row. What was the solution?
Alex Ovechkin is the best player on the team. He's the highest paid player on the team. He's the captain of the team. And Alex isn't getting the job done. And I've been giving this a lot of thought. I like Alex. He's great when I'm around him and deal with me and stuff like that. But I really think it's time for the Washington Capitals to look at moving Alex Ovechkin.
And I don't mean to, I like Barry Melrose. He seems really nice. He's just, this is the example that I happen to be using. It's not a Barry Melrose problem. We all do this constantly in every sport. We say, fire him. But then, of course, the very next season, what did Alex Ovechkin do? Well, I meant he won the Stanley Cup, but it's a good point. That's more impressive footage anyway. The point is, losing does not define you unless you let it. I would bet that hidden somewhere in that sea of frustrating losses was a lesson that helped Ovi get to here. Or at the very least, it increased his tolerance for alcohol. The Capitals are also a good example of another reason why losing is good, actually. It makes winning mean more. I mean, obviously winning, pretty great all the time, but winning after a long, tortured stretch of constantly losing feels incredible. It's redemption for years of torment. You have put up with this for so long, and now you get to shove it in everyone's face.
I'm an underdog story kind of guy, and I believe that at some point in time, the effort and energy that you put in should come back to you. And for a DC sports fan, for a Capitals fan, and for everybody within that franchise and organization, we dogged them, we laughed at them, we joked about them forever. And now, gaggers no more.
You know, just because he ended it on a dumb gaggers no more. It was still a good take. Just didn't need that last part. That is a Damon Amendolara, a good friend of mine, and also exactly how Mike Francesa pronounces Danny Amendola, who he says is an enormously talented slot receiver. Back after this. Losing is good, actually, because, you know, winning when you're expected to win just doesn't feel as triumphant. I know you're rolling your eyes because I'm an obnoxious Boston fan, but I'll have you know, I was born a down on my luck, I feel so bad for them Boston fan. And I remember that thrilling mix of rabid hope and just utter resignation before almost every game. Like, one half of your brain is yelling, this could be the one! And the other half is like, LOL, shut up, no it couldn't, you know that. And I'll be honest, I miss that. I still love my teams, and winning is awesome, don't you dare take it away from me. But when losing feels inevitable and winning seems impossible, that's a magical place for a fan base. Being a Red Sox fan before 2004 was like being in a cult, or, you know, being a dog that's chasing its tail. It's fun, but ultimately disappointing. But you know what? Hey, we had fun, we wasted a bunch of time, who cares? Then in 2004, we caught our tail, and it was like, I've waited my whole life for this. What is this feeling? What do I do now? So we, you know, repeated the trick at parties, like, hey everybody, come check this out, look what we can do. And then it was just sort of like, okay, it's a tail, what am I supposed to do with this? And you can say that that's just a me thing, and sure, maybe it is a little bit, but You are lying if you're a Red Sox fan who says you feel exactly the same now as you did before 2004. You know something changed. I know something changed. Even the devil himself knows something changed.
But it doesn't happen anymore. You guys have really, I can say this now because I'm retired, but the Boston fans have softened up.
Yeah.
Since you guys have won.
Yeah. That really was it.
It pains me to say it, but, you know, I won't say it. I'm not happy you won.
Yeah.
But you treat me a lot better.
Yeah, well.
To be fair, we could not have treated you much worse. The point is, you find out who you are when you're a loser, not when you're a winner. Just ask me in middle school, and half of college, and then a couple years after college. There was a moment in the middle there, though, as a Red Sox fan, that felt close to as genuinely exciting as it used to be. And that moment was 2013. Do you know why? Because losing is good, actually. 2012, the year before, Bobby Valentine, LOL, led the team to their first losing season in 15 years. They missed the playoffs entirely and finished at the bottom of their division with a record of 69, not nice, and 93, the fifth worst record in the league. And then the next year, they won the World Series at Fenway. Incredible. The point is, the existence of the worst to first narrative in sports is proof that losing is actually good. The Twins in 91, the Rams in 99, the 2001 Patriots, the 07-08 Boston Celtics, Leicester City in the Premier League in 2016. If you do it right, losing a bunch can set you on a path to winning. And you know what? Yeah, I'm in on this now. Losing is good, actually, because it tests your character. Tons of athletes who we define by their successes give credit to their defeats. You may have noticed this when they're trying to sell you shoes or sugar water.
You really want to know the secret to victory.
And heartbreak for Matt Ryan, who is in utter disbelief.
Defeat.
I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
Yeah, you know, fun fact, whoever did the music in that Jordan commercial failed at ripping off the Law & Order theme song. But you can learn a lot about your team or the players on it after a loss. For example, if I'm a Jazz fan, I feel pretty hopeful about our future after this.
You don't succeed, you know, without failure. You know, you don't succeed without going through times like this. So to have that so vividly in my head in a moment like this, you know, I could tell you that I'm upset and what all, but, you know, I'm going to be better, simply put.
That's a guy who's reflecting on the loss and who's going to grow from it. If I'm a Thunder fan, Paul George's reaction to Dame Lillard's 3 that sent them home has me feeling, you know, not worried necessarily, but like, not great.
I mean, that's a bad shot. I care what anybody says, that's a bad shot. But, hey, he made it. That story won't be told, that it was a bad shot.
The story wasn't told. But yeah, you know, yeah, I am in on it. I think we're right here. Losing is good, actually. It just makes everything about winning better. Think about it. When's the last time you voluntarily went to a parade? You didn't, because parades are lame as hell. Hey, let's go stand and watch people walk by us, or drive by, but really slow. You. But a championship parade, when your team finally wins after years of losing, hell yeah. Not only will you go to that, but you'll go to that and eat horse poop off the street. You're excited. That's a thing that happened, you guys. Did you know that? I'll show you a video later. Losing is good because it endears you to people. And it also lowers expectations, which lowers pressure, which makes your job a lot easier. Losing is great, actually. We should really start embracing it. The problem is we have to stop conflating win and lose with try and don't try. Everyone out there's trying. All but one of them has to lose. It's just math or science. I was never good at either. It's not the end of the world. Let it be good to lose. Let it be good, actually. I know that that's difficult, and you got to change our perspective on it. So in order to help the sports world do that, we put together a little highlight package from this postseason.
A lot of long contested twos. Wow.
Behind, look at the ball moving here by the Nuggets. Murray comes up short. Stepped out of bounds. Monroe, there's daring him to shoot it. He will. Way off on a 3-ball.
Hardy goes right, almost finishes the dunk.
The Warriors were on fire.
Look, there can't be this much smoke without being some fire somewhere.
One team showed up,
The other had a little bit of problem.
I think we all feel that way. It was absolutely shocking what we saw.
It was blowout city. It's too raw. It's too rough. There's too much blood.
The absolute truth of the matter is that none of this should have happened in the first place.
I instantly thought this is a woman who everything that she's dealt with her entire life has come brimming up to the top. And honestly, I fear the day for every woman when they hit that moment that they realize, you know what, I've been marginalized, I've been dealing with gender inequities, and I'm not standing for it anymore.
But she has to accept some responsibility. I think as the #1 star, she is entitled to every once in a while having an outburst and not being completely vilified for it, whether she's right or wrong.
The question is, does the punishment fit the crime? And the answer is yes. You can suspend, you can do any, that's the precedent that's been set.
Once that's attached to your name forever, people will question the greatness that you did have.
And in my opinion, that was white girl privilege working at its finest.
What I watched was goosebump, riveting, the best fight I've seen in 20 years. The best fight I've seen in 20 years.
He knew his brother. It was almost as if he knew what he was going to do before he did it.
It's crazy how a sad situation like this bring these guys together.
They're trying to erase demons of the past.
It's not the fact that it's a draw. As much as I don't like it, I think it's weak because I want a decided winner. I don't want to hear draw. I do understand those who believe it was a close fight.
The defense was horrendous. I mean, seriously.
You know that you're going up against a superior team. I totally understand that. But Scott, there's a difference between you defending somebody, doing all that you can, but just resigning yourself to the fact that they're superior and that you not even being in the ballpark.
There's been no effort. There's no communication on the defensive end. And most of all, there's no pride.
They're quitting on their leader. I'm gonna say what nobody else has said. Aaron Rodgers is a victim in all of this. He's an absolute victim.
Man, I know we all know this already, but you really realize how good Stephen A. is at his job when you do one of those things, because every clip you're like, oh man, it's Stephen A. again. Okay, going to see a professional sports game, always fun. That's how the sports fans say it, a professional sports game. Always a fun day. You watch your favorite team, you drink expensive beer, you eat a mediocre hot dog. Sure, it's not perfect, but the only time it really sucks is when your team loses, right? Wrong. The other day, one of our staff members stumbled upon a treasure trove of content on the internet, 1-star stadium Yelp reviews. Turns out, a surprising number of people actually go home and log on after a game to leave a scathing review of the venue. It's incredible, really. So I have decided that I'm going to review some of these reviews in a new segment that we call Under Review. Okay, first up, is Ernest S., who went to Kauffman Stadium, home of the Kansas City Royals. Ernest writes, "What a jerk-off place." No signage anywhere saying what is prohibited in the stadium. People walking in with giant backpacks that could be loaded with C4, umbrellas that might hide blades or be used as a club, but a 2 5/8 inch long penknife? That's verboten. I even was allowed into a political rally featuring President Obama in 2012 with that penknife, but not Kauffman Stadium. Hell, I bet some jackass with a legal concealed carry permit could waltz right through security. This review paints the clientele at Kauffman Stadium with a real bleak brush. Got an umbrella, probably hiding a tire iron. Oh, look, that guy has a foam finger, made of uranium, I'm sure. It feels like Ernest may be projecting, which is dangerous in a jerk-off place. It also took a real turn there at the end when he said that he brought a big old knife to an Obama rally in 2012. Like that wouldn't make us all incredibly uncomfortable. I give this review 1 star. Next up, Scott L., who left a 1-star review of Levi's Stadium. Scott writes, "I heard they don't even try to help with lost and found dicks." Dicks. We weren't sure how to blur that. I think you get it. It would be cool if they helped get an iPhone back with a lot of baby pics. No help at all. That's the entire review. I will say it's hard to say what my favorite part was. The dicks, the renaissance of coo as a slang word, or the twist at the end there where he has a baby. Scott loses 1 star for starting his review with "I heard," establishing it as mere hearsay. And then, he's going to lose another star for definitely, absolutely lying about what type of pictures are on that iPhone. So I'm going to give him 3 stars. Next up, Taylor B., who went to Miller Park in Milwaukee but wasn't there for long. Taylor wrote, "Got kicked out for rutting for the other team. Miller Park ushers need to know facts before decisions. 8 cops is unnecessary for 2 sober people." Now, I went ahead and looked up rutting on the internet just to make sure I wasn't the idiot here. And according to Urban Dictionary, it means fornicating. Although I think according to Urban Dictionary, everything means fornicating, but still, the internet said it, so it's true. And let me just say, sir, you should not be rutting at a baseball stadium. I mean, you say that you were doing it for the other team, and I'm not sure if you think that's motivating them or what, but you need to cut it out. And as for the cops, I would say, if you're crazy enough to be sober and rutting in public, 8 cops is not enough. So I'm going to give you 1 star, but only because you can't give 0. Next, we have Corey C. from Farmington, Michigan, who went to AT&T Stadium in Dallas, and this was his takeaway: "The elevators suck ass." Brad was an average elevator attendant, but regardless, elevators. I really love that Corey thought paying Brad the borderline non-compliment of "he was average" might make you think he didn't absolutely hate those elevators, so he doubles down and reminds you. I think that's his point is clear. So I'm going to give this review 3 stars. Because also, I think it's pretty obvious this poor guy never made it to his seats, and I'm not a monster. He's stuck in an elevator somewhere. And our last review comes from Robert G., a hometown kid who spent a day at Wrigley Field. He left an extremely long and very thorough review where he shared thoughts on, Wrigley's lack of professionalism, their overpriced menu, a war on nostalgia, ? But we're going to focus on the end where he offers an actionable plan to improve the stadium experience. He writes, "What can be improved? Bring back the huge urinal troughs. The 3-person troughs don't have the same capacity. I often rewatch the YouTube video of the dude diving into a wave a male urine at Wrigley Field's old urinal troughs. My kid almost touched the pink urinal puck in the trough. It was the funniest, joking with the other adults in the bathroom about this life skill. Robert, you cannot spend the first half of your review complaining that drinks are too expensive, and then say that you worry that the bathroom troughs don't have the same capacity. How much are you peeing? Girl, have a cranberry juice. For anyone living in the 21st century who is confused by the reference to urinal trough, I will offer you this video, which is likely the one Robert was referencing, of a man diving into a metal trough full of other men's urine, courtesy of our friends at bigboys.com. My big takeaway here is that you, sir, miss being able to talk to other people in the public bathroom, which I've long said should be illegal. So 1 star for you, Bob. And you'll take it and you'll like it. All right, that is it for Under Review. Yay! And that's also it for our show. Hey! Big thank you to Ernest S. and no thank you to Bob. Thanks to our studio audience and to you at home for watching. We'll see you next week for our last show of the season. Here it is, your moment of death.
Redskins had an all replacement.